kids. I have not seen y'all in forever. Welcome back to another episode of Women Gone Wild, and it's season 2. It has been 9 long-ass months since I got on this podcast and recorded an episode, and I am so happy to be back. It was a much-needed break that needed to happen. Like, it had to happen in order for me to be where I am today, who I am today, and I am so excited to share with you guys. So come on in, get you some wine, get you some weed, whatever you need to, like, just, vibe out with me. What is the 411? What has everybody been up to? What is the hot gossip? Tell me everything. What you guys listening to? What's the cool jams? You girls keep me young. I love you so much. Yo, you are now tuning in to Women Gone Wild, okay? I'm your host, Zae, and I am the happiest I have ever been in my entire life. Oh my God, life is so beautiful. Life is so amazing. Life is so scrumptious, delicious, juicy, flavorful, blessed, abundant, peaceful, and I'm happy to be here. I just got out of a relationship. That explains my absence. I know. That is not very Woman Gone Wild of me at all. It's a fucking circus out there. And the only way that I know how to make sense of everything that happens around me is to turn all this chaos into clarity by talking it out. So, thank you for joining me today. Let's get into today's discussion. So lately, I have been really just kind of deep diving into the concept of duality and just kind of examining how society pushes us into the spheres of black or white, left or right, this or that. You know what I mean? And it's just, there's not a lot of room for nuance. There's not a lot of room for us to exist in the gray area. And I think that my interest in this topic was sparked by, or was further inspired by the concept of bisexuality. Because that is one sexuality that a lot of people from many different facets of the spectrum, many different people on the spectrum have different issues with bisexuality. And a lot of that is due to the fact that we bisexuals are the embodiment of existing in the gray area. Okay, there is no this or that. It's either or. It's whatever I choose, it's whatever I decide, and that makes people uncomfortable because it makes me more unpredictable. It makes me unable to, it makes me harder to manipulate. I'll say that. It makes me harder to manipulate. It makes me, it gives me the foresight of being able to look at people for who they are rather than their gender. So, I'm really grateful for my sexuality and my ability to exist in the gray area. So, yeah, I just kind of want to talk about that today. I wonder how many of my listeners identify as bisexual. And if so, then you can probably relate to some of the topics I'm going to discuss on this episode today. As a woman who's both attracted to men and women, it feels like bisexuality is always up for scrutiny, debate, or criticism by somebody. And I'm not a victim by any means. I'm not on here rallying for justice or rights or restitution. I'm just making an observation And as I delve deeper into the concept of going both ways, there's a lot of truths that I'm realizing about like the collective state of awareness and just the mindset. It's been revealed to me. It's been revealed to me. There's always this like energetic pool that's splitting me in two, and it's a force that I'm still learning to embrace. Uh, which I feel like it's a big explanation behind my attraction to both sexes. Um, and like this force is like an energetic pull away from absolutes. It's a resistance to those paradigms that I mentioned, that are limited by black and white or this and that. And I'm almost always words. I'm almost always oscillating between two worlds that are made up of entirely different, sometimes contradicting desires. My bisexual fantastical yearning, it looks it looks very contradictory. So for example, I would like to be in a sapphic relationship where our souls are intertwined and we live in the woods like fairies and we frolic and make art together and dance in the moonlight and we're best friends and lovers, right? But I also want to be worshipped and spoiled by a man who is moderately afraid of me but also would do anything and everything to protect me. So these two scenarios, they clash. They clash. It's like, how are you gonna get both of that? How are you gonna get all of that? It's like, I don't know, but I'm gonna let my mind wander because my mind is not limited, and I'm sorry that yours is. Like, the duality that makes up the beauty of bisexuality is erased by the general public. And society is like always trying to push people into a polarized state of choosing one or the other. And I'd like to dispel some biphobic myths because they're not true. Like, period. I'm a woman. I'm a woman who identifies as bisexual. And so I can only speak from my disposition based off of my experience. But I have seen a lot of like lesbians saying that they don't date bisexual women because they are afraid that their woman or that she will leave her for a man. And I'm not gonna invalidate anybody's experience and say that that has not happened. I'm not going to say that you didn't get cheated on and that your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend didn't cheat on you with a nigga. I'm not gonna say that you got broken up with and the person that your ex decided to date after you was a man. That's valid. You have feelings about that, and those feelings are more so. I'm just here to highlight how those feelings are more so rooted in y'all's incompatibility and not her sexuality. Like, the commitment to growing and sustaining a healthy relationship with bisexuality isn't even thought about before our sexuality is weaponized and like kind of viewed as a threat. And in these scenarios, it definitely makes more sense to consider like the reasons why your girlfriend would want to leave you, period. Like, who she leaves you for is hardly relevant. It's like, it could be a man, it could be a woman. It's like your girlfriend is leaving you for someone else because the relationship that you are currently in with her is no longer working. This has nothing to do with her sexuality. If she cheated on you with a man, the issue is not her sexuality, it's the fact that she's a cheater. So you are, in a sense, saying that you don't want to date bisexual women because bisexual women are cheaters. That is not an absolute truth. However, that may be your experience. And if that's how you perceive it, whatever. I'm not here to change your mind. We're just talking. We're just having a conversation, right? Now, if your woman decides to break up with you and then her next partner after that is a man, then that also has nothing to do with her sexuality. I mean, yeah, she's bisexual, but like, I don't like, I, it's very unlikely that she said, this relationship is no longer working for me because I am with a woman and I really want to be with a man. So I'm going to break up with my woman and go see what it's like to be with this man. That is not the reason why y'all broke up. And you know it. And you're using her sexuality as a scapegoat to avoid the deeper truths as to why you may have broken up in the first place. Like, she happened to date a man after you, but did she break up with you because you are a woman and she wanted to date men? Now, let's also look at this thing. Did you break up with her because she wanted to explore her relationship or her sexuality with men? Because if that was the case, then again, her sexuality is not the issue. It's the fact that y'all are incompatible in that you are not open to non-monogamy, but she clearly is interested in opening y'all's relationship and exploring men outside of you. So there's some incompatibility there. Just because y'all like the same shit and y'all have a lot of things in common does not mean that you're incompatible. I mean, that doesn't mean that you're compatible. If one person only wants to be with one person for the rest of their life, and the other person is fluid and open and, polyamorous or non-monogamous or whatever, then those two people coming together would not make sense because those two people are incompatible. And that's just what it is. In neither scenario, whether she cheats on you, dates a man after you, or wants to explore men while she's with you, neither one of those things is due to her bisexuality. It's more so due to incompatibility, her being a fucking cheater, or a nigga just being next. And that's okay. Like, why does it hurt? I think it's I think it's also damaging to the ego when a woman leaves her female partner and dates a man afterwards. And I'm not sure why. I don't know. I haven't quite gathered that much information, but there's something there. It's like a gender, like it's like a pride ego thing too, because it's like, who cares who she's dating after you? People tell themselves anything to like make themselves feel better and to rationalize the things that are happening against their will. It's very interesting. So yeah, I just feel like my hope is that anybody, like any person, man, woman, straight, gay, bisexual, would leave a relationship or a situationship that they no longer feel safe in, honored, respected, or loved in. Like, who they leave the relationship for is not relevant. Like I said, due to incompatibility, someone being a cheater, or you just having a hurt ego, the issue is more correlated with a skewed perception of each other's values in a relationship. I think that there's also the issue of the benevolent patriarch that is posing a threat to people who could potentially be in a relationship or a situationship with a woman who is attracted to men, period, regardless of whether she's also attracted to women, because that ideal male figure, that benevolent patriarch, that attractive, money making, good looking, successful, whatever, that male figure is a threat to anybody, I guess. And it's very interesting because a lot of men don't even meet that standard. I'm trying to figure out, like, who are we threatened by? Like, leave you for what man? Where are the men? Have you seen the men? You must not have seen the men. Most men don't even live up to this standard of being this benevolent patriarch. So, like, there's no reason to be insecure. Women don't leave relationships. Bisexual women do not leave relationships based off of gender. If you're clear-headed and an actualized person who is, like, secure in your sexuality, gender is hardly even a factor when you're dating, period. Like, if you're bisexual and you're equally as attracted to men and women, gender is hardly an issue. It's literally the intricacies of how people behave that makes people want to run to the opposite sex or run to the same sex, and it's not really about gender. But sure, for the sake of calling a spade, you got it. Another myth that I've read is that bisexuals only date women when we get hurt by men. And it's like, we all know sexual orientation isn't a choice, right? Okay, so how many of us know that sexuality is also, like, sexual orientation is not a trauma response? Sexuality is natural, and if it's, like, embraced, it can be cultivated and refined and redefined, and yeah, it can just be created through exposure and experience. And so I just feel like we just jump so quickly to, bisexual women get accused of using lesbians as rehabilitation centers for when men hurt them. And it's like, based on my personal experience, I find that because women are better lovers and because, like, women are able to tap in so deeply to the emotions, they are much more capable of inflicting emotional damage that is damn near hard to come back from. Like, a woman will fuck you up. So to think that you would leave a unfavorable situation with a man to go to a woman and get what you're safe, like, I hope you don't think that you're safe from getting your heart broken, because women would do you worse. You're not safe from heartbreak when you're dating with women, okay? Like, when you're dating women or dealing with women, like, it's not immune over here. It's not immune. I feel like women are a lot safer. Women are better lovers, definitely, in my opinion. However, they will fuck you up just as bad emotionally. Worse even, because, like, women, I take women seriously, like, very seriously. And men, I'm not saying that I don't take them seriously, but it's really difficult to take men seriously, if that makes sense, without sounding, I don't really give a fuck how I sound. I take women very seriously. So honestly, men are more like distractions for when women hurt bisexual women. They're more like distractions, you know what I'm saying? Men are easy. Um they don't require a lot in order to, get close. It's just, they're just there. They're readily available. And so yeah, they're more like the distractions that women go to after getting their heart broken by other women. because the women be doing the damage. But I digress. Another question that I've seen is, why are so many bisexual women in long-term relationships with men? And like I said, men are easy. They're easy to please. They're surprisingly easy to dominate. And they just make life easier for us as women. And I'm not even gonna lie, I feel like I have more control when I'm dealing with men. Like women are like kind of chaotic and unpredictable, and I'm not always in kind of chaotic. Women are chaotic and quite unpredictable, and I'm not always in a position or like a place to make space or receive that. And so men are just easier. Um Women are gorgeous, extraordinarily spectacular beings. However, we are also extremely intimidating. There are so many like different dynamics that make up relationships between women. You know, we have our familial dynamics. You have people that have their mother wounds, of course, and you know, that's not my experience, but I do know that mother wounds have a huge effect on women's relationship with other women. And then you have platonic dynamics, you have sapphic relationships, you have long-term committed romantic partnerships, you have women in competition with each other, you have women as co-workers, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of different relationships, and so you never really know how to approach other women until you know how to approach that woman. Like, first of all, there are more straight men available than there are single women who date men. So, like, the men just be there in our faces. But, like, I feel like men, like, when it comes to pursuing women, women are, like, intimidated because they don't know if they're going to offend. They don't know if they're going to get rejected. They don't know if, like, you know, it's just a lot of ambiguity there. When it comes to women approaching other women. And so that kind of pushes a lot of bisexual women into relationships with men because men are right there. Okay, like the dating scene and the social spaces, they cater more to heteronormative relationship dynamics, and the supply of available men is just increased. And lesbians also make themselves scarce, whatever the fuck. Lesbians be making themselves scarce with the biphobia and shit. So when they refuse to engage with bisexuals for whatever reason, bisexual women go where they're wanted, which is like, I refuse to settle personally. Like, I currently not having any trouble attracting women, but even if I was having a hard time, I wouldn't settle. I've been like really interrogating my attraction to men, okay? So like these labels, even this label like bisexual, it's like that could change next month. Who knows? Because I do not live in the realm of black and white. Speaking of black and white, I just want to take a pause. This painting that I've been working on, I have a lot of art in my home that is inspired by black and white. That's just been a really like big focus for me subconsciously, visually. So yeah. It's like society tries to place you in these realms of either this or that. And it's like it can all exist at once. So yeah. I have a lot of black and white in my house. Also, I got this painting from a thrift store. It was it had like a single layer of paint over it. The skin was brown. I think the shirt was like orange and the hat was green. And yeah, I just drew it up a little bit. I'm not done with it. So I will show y'all the finished product when it's done. But yeah, just been interrogating my attraction to men. Now, I will say that when women date men, um, there is a little bit of the piece of the pie that we get as far as patriarchy goes. Patriarchy gives us permission to hold our men to different standards than we do our women. Stuff like, like chivalry, being a provider, having all of these qualities that we just don't really expect women to have. Like, it's okay, girl, if you don't make six figures. It's fine. You're so beautiful. Together we can put our money together. We could just spoil each other. It don't matter. It don't matter. But it's like, you're a man. And because you're a man, I need you to be coming with something. And it's like, it's not, I would say it's not my job to dismantle patriarchy. I'm not going to say that because it is everyone's job. However, it's not my job to initiate the dismantling of patriarchy. And so, yeah, I am absolutely in agreement that men need to be paying for shit. I mean, given the horrific crimes against women throughout many, many centuries, it's the least they could do. There are reparations owed to women, and because of that, there are just certain standards that men are held to in order to be considered the benevolent patriarch. And so, because we are allowed to hold men to these standards, dating them ends up being a lot beneficial if you're in that state of mind. Now, I personally believe that your peace and your happiness are a little bit more expensive than what a lot of men can afford, regardless of how much money they have. Let me say that again. Your peace and happiness are a lot more expensive than what most men can afford, regardless of how much money they have. And so, yeah, I don't subscribe to that, but I definitely understand the girls who do, and you are well within your rights, sis. The act of like one person taking on the role of the provider is just not a part of the status quo when it comes to women dating each other. Like the traditional heteronormative gender roles just don't exist because it's two women. Like, it's two women. Women are much more. But this is the thing, though. Women are so unpredictable and chaotic, hence women gone wild, that subconsciously we know that when we're dealing with each other, we have to be ready for any and everything. Like, we just have to. Like, we're making the intentional choice to decenter men and primarily date women, and we know that it requires more effort, more consistency, more willingness to take initiative, the ability to apply pressure, or just, like, be intentional and show interest instead of, most women are used to being chased, but like women who date women, they do the chasing. And so because of that, they are able to hold the vastness and the intensity of each other's energy. And that's usually rooted in the fact that they are able to hold their own in so many facets of their life outside of sex, romance, relationships, period. Like, there's strength, there's agency, there's autonomy. And this is what makes women so beautifully intimidating, because when we have it all, bitch, we will take your bitch. Like, now this isn't to say that women who date, like straight women and women who date men aren't able to hold their own. It's just like, sparingly is a straight woman met with the energy of a romantic partner who can activate both her masculine and her feminine energy, as well as reflect both energies back to her without making her feel misplaced or undermined as a woman. And It's just the fact that women who date men have these expectations of their man that requires them to like self-contain, perform, and stay in a constant state of productivity. Very rarely is a woman going to like accept a man that is just as feminine as her, or it releases just the same amount of feminine energy as she does. And nor does she want to have to release or tap into that masculine energy as much as her man does. Like, it's just not where she wants. It's not that she can't tap into those things. It's just that typically straight women are looking for that yin yang dynamic that can only be created with the opposite sex. And so it's just, that's just what they want. That's just what they prefer. And that may be the reason why some bisexual women like gravitate towards men, is because they get more of that yin yang dynamic. And it's not, there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We're all just making observations here. There's no there's no morals brought into question or anything like that. It is what it is. And I honestly believe that if patriarchy and capitalism didn't exist, everybody's sexual preferences would expand naturally. Like, more women would open themselves up to dating bisexual men and like non-binary people, and men would probably not be on the DL. Like, I don't know. But anyways, the bottom line is that a bisexual woman's choice to be with a woman ultimately depends on whether or not she has women in her life. So if a woman has mother wounds that make it hard for her to connect with other women or form even friendships with other women, it's going to be difficult for her to like express and tap into that part of her sexuality. But that doesn't mean that she's not bisexual or she doesn't like women. So yeah, you know, I encourage any bisexual women out there listening who have trouble pursuing women. You know, it is a process that there is a process of healing and kind of like self-actualization that has to take place in order for you to begin to feel confident enough to pursue women. However, you will probably never actually be ready. So just fucking do that shit. And if she cusses you out, like, the worst thing she could do is cuss you out and be like, no, bitch, I ain't gay. That's like the worst thing that can happen. Okay. Like, I promise you, she's not going to beat your ass and everything's going to be fine. You can do this, girl. We need to stop putting off our desires for women. Like bisexual women, I'm calling us out. Excuse me. We need to stop putting off our desires for women and engaging in romantic relationships with men. A lot of bisexual women will put their desires off, like their desires for women off, due to them being engaged or dealing with a man romantically or sexually, without realizing that the convenience of dating men has been mistaken for a preference. Like, it's easier, girl. It's more convenient. Let's be honest. It's more convenient. Y'all, I'm sure that a lot of bisexual women out there are in love with their male partners, and I'm not invalidating that. However, if you are a bisexual woman and you are dating men and it's not fucking working out and you haven't dated a woman in years, I'm just saying you should try to go to, what is it called? The path of most resistance. Yeah, go down the path of most resistance. Okay? Like, yes, women are scary. Yes, but men are fucking annoying and like incapable of giving you what you want, for real. So that's honestly another podcast episode. I sound like I'm trying to convince people not to be bisexual, right? No, I'm just saying, explore your bisexuality. Don't lean into just one side if it's not working out. Like, if you're dating and you're like single and you're like okay, I'm bisexual, but I'm open to dating everybody, but I keep getting niggas. What the fuck? Why is it so hard to find women? I'm just giving you a little bit of encouragement. You can do it, girl. There are reasons why you have not been pursuing women, and it's because you are a little bit scared of rejection, and you don't want to offend nobody, and you probably don't feel like you are in a place to um, either hold your own or pour into another woman. And that's valid. I pray that you get to a space where you are able to feel confident enough to explore the entire spectrum of your sexuality. Even though bisexual women are queer, we are able to ride the coattails of patriarchy and benefit from the expectations society places on men in the same ways that straight women do. Men and women are both extremely attractive, but it's patriarchal benevolence that contributes to the reasons bisexual women tend to choose men over women. Bisexual women aren't making the conscious choice not to date other women. Male partners just align flawlessly based on the heteronormative disposition women who date men are typically thrown into, despite queerness being a huge, significant part of our identity. Bitch, I'm fucking bi. I'm not a lesbian. I'm not straight. I'm bi. I like both. Stop trying to erase either or. I peep so much biphobic shit on the internet, and it doesn't bother me it as much as it inspires me to just explore the subconscious reasons for why bisexuality ruffles so many feathers, specifically as a bisexual woman. So, bisexual women have their sexuality disregarded or erased and are assumed to be straight, while men have their sexuality disregarded and or erased and are assumed to be gay, which is very interesting. So the very concept of not fitting into a box where I can be slapped with the label of straight or lesbian really gets people going. Like it gets under people's skin. And due to society's ability to make space for and embrace nuance between two opposing ideals, specifically being attracted to both men and women, many of us feel like we have to work twice as hard to remain secure and rooted in our sexuality. I peep so much biphobic shit on the internet, and it's actually inspired me more than it's offended me, to explore the subconscious reasons for why bisexuality ruffles so many feathers. Specifically as a bisexual woman. Again, I can only speak it from my experience, but like I said, I have a little bit of insight on like bisexual men. So bisexual women have their sexuality disregarded and erased, and people assume that we are straight. Bisexual men have their sexuality disregarded and erased, and people assume that they are gay. And I guess the underlying reason for that is that men are just so powerful that if you fuck with them, they override your sexuality. And you know what? That is patriarchal and misogynistic as fuck. Nah. No, but for real though, why are we giving men all this power? Just because I fuck with niggas, I'm not gay. I mean, I'm not bi. Just because I fuck with men, I'm not bi. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, both men and women go through the same shit for different reasons. It's like two sides of the same coin. It's very interesting. But, like, yeah, the common denominator is that if you are attracted to men, that attraction is strong enough, is potent enough, is enough of a threat to your attraction to any other sex, including women. And that's just not accurate, because we all know that women are more attractive than men. Like, come on, bro. Like, nah, but in all seriousness, the very concept of not fitting into a box where, you know, you can be slapped with the label of straight or lesbian, it really gets people going. Like, society has an inability to make space and embrace nuance between two polarizing ideals, those ideals being the attraction to both men and women. And Because of this, many bisexual people feel like they have to work twice as hard to remain secure and rooted in their sexuality, which happens to fall on maybe two or maybe more points on the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you don't fit into one category, when you know, kind of brush over multiple, it's really hard to, or people will like try to uproot you from your shit as if you're confused. It's like, no, bitch, I am not confused. I just know for a fact that I like this, and that. Fuck you. Like, it's like when you're dating a woman, you have to remind people that you're not a lesbian, and when you're dating a man, you have to remind people that you're not straight or male centered. And this is as a woman. And as a man, you have to remind people that you're not fucking gay, like that you like women, because they will automatically try to tell a man that he's not. I'll get into that very soon, but like, lesbians will pass up bisexual women. I just think it's so funny that lesbians will pass up bisexual women, but will dive head first into the pussy of a straight woman. And that is because turning her out is soothing to the ego, especially if she's married or if she has a boyfriend. Who is the cheater now? Like, to many women, the idea of a woman only being gay for her is also rewarding and affirmation that there are no other queer women that she has to compete with. So it's all just like this fucking ego thing. Like, a lot of people only deal with women when it feeds or serves their ego. The straight women get all the motherfucking lesbian action that I could ask for. And it's because people want to feel in control or influential, seductive, persuasive, like they changed someone's mind. And it's just like, y'all need therapy. And a lot of people, you know, will say shit about bisexual men. Bisexual men deal with a lot of biphobia and bi-erasure from both the gay community and straight women. Like, there are several women, both straight and bisexual actually, who say that they would never date a bisexual man because men who date men aren't bisexual, they're gay. Not only is this hypocritical coming from a bisexual woman, but or this is hypocritical coming from any woman who claims to like men and has also kissed, fucked, or dated another woman. Period. Bisexual or not. His attraction, like men's attraction to other men, does not erase his attraction to women. And his attraction to women does not erase his attraction to men. Men loving men is so far outside of the realm of heteronormativity that it's really hard for them to bounce back, like to bounce back and forth between those two realms. But like, let him cook. Like, you would rather the nigga be bisexual openly than DL, trust me. The reason why, like, it's hard for men to bounce between like heteronormativity and like queerdom is, the concept of women loving women is more accepted. It's received a pass among the heterosexuals. When straight men engage in threesomes and orgies, they don't touch each other, but the women having sex with each other is accepted and encouraged. Women are also like hyped up for being barsexuals at parties, getting drunk, making out with each other to entertain niggas. That's some male center shit, but whatever. And just, you know, women are just given the freedom to experiment with our sexuality without being slapped within a label that doesn't fit us. When we do engage with women. So men are just not afforded, like bisexual men are just not afforded that same luxury. They don't get to bounce back. They're automatically like, oh, that nigga is gay. Bisexual where? Like, no, that nigga is gay. And I'm just so happy that there are more women coming out saying, like, openly admitting that they would date a bisexual man. Shit, I would too. At this point, because I've never dated a bisexual man. I never thought to date a bisexual man, but like, I feel like he'd have a certain understanding of like queerdom and and he'd also hopefully be less toxic in the expression of his masculinity. One can only hope. Biphobic women are very insecure about bisexual men being attracted to other men. They fear that he's going to want to get pegged or he's going to want to have sex with another man. And perhaps this is true, which is why dating bisexual men isn't for everyone. But, yeah, many bisexuals express both aspects of their sexuality through ethical non-monogamy, kinky queer sexual relations and like non-traditional relationship dynamics. So not wanting to participate in a lifestyle like that is not a moral failure, as long as one is not invalidating another person's lifestyle choices in the process. A lot of women believe that sex with a bisexual man is dangerous and that it will put them at risk for HIV. The gag is men are actually more likely to spread HIV when they engage in sex with men on the down low versus being out proud and open about their sexuality. Okay? Unfortunately, several women are already dealing with a bisexual man. Like, girl, you don't even know it. Your boyfriend is not straight. I'm just saying. Homophobia sends so many bisexual men into hiding. And this is where they can find their shame, their fear, their insecurities. And one could blame society for being homophobic. One could blame the download male for being a coward. But to someone who is accepting of gay and bisexual men, one would only bring morals into question when there is deception and a lack of consent. Like, I feel like if you are bisexual, you should disclose that to everybody that you are being sexual with. I'm just saying. And so, the basis of everyone's issue with down low men is that they are more afraid of like being scrutinized for their sexuality than they are of lying, cheating, deceiving, living double lives, spreading STDs, etc., etc. Like, unfortunately, that reputation of being down low and like grimy with how you express your sexuality is projected onto openly bisexual men, and that's just not how they move. Like, I'm pretty sure that you would be a lot more safer fucking with somebody who's honest and open about their sexuality than someone who's, on the down low, hiding it, but whatever. Now again, the only issue that you would have to think about is whether or not your partner, male or female, bisexual, whatever, is faithful. Okay? Because cheating and going outside of the relationship would be the issue with a bisexual man bringing STDs into the relationship or putting you at risk for contracting an STD. The issue would be infidelity. Again, not his sexuality that's the issue. It's the infidelity. The fact that he's fucked men before, is willing to fuck men, is open to fucking men in the future. That has nothing to do with that. That shouldn't pose a threat to you. That's really the issue. So we're just gonna scoot on past that because we're not about to fucking keep going in circles. Like, that ain't the issue. Is you niggas is biphobic. So whatever it is about bisexuality that gets under people's skin, the response that it receives indicates the presence of a particular boldness, the audacity to exist nomadically and comfortably in the gray area. And when I think about a person who has the balls and the galls to navigate life in a non-polarized state of being, constantly in flow, I imagine I see the image of a pendulum swinging from side to side, right? And this motion from left to right represents a constant like dance through life. Rather than marching and getting stuck in your ways, it's more like a dance. And instead of anchoring oneself to the confines of black or white or left or right or conservative or liberal, the pendulum continues to swing from side to side. And it never gets stuck. And so many people who identify as bisexual are the physical embodiment of certain universal laws and principles. The law of rhythm and the law of duality come to mind specifically as I harp on the infrequently spoken understanding and that everything moves within cycles. And I have a strong awareness of the constant ebb and flow occurring at all times. So as the pendulum swings, there's a taunting voice that laughs out, "You can't make me choose." Ah. And that is disturbing to a lot of people's spirit. Like, disturbing. It reminds you that, like, it reminds you of all the times where you felt like you had to put all of your eggs all in one basket, unaware that you had multiple options and a variety of paths that you could have taken yourself. The law of duality says that everything exists on a spectrum with two opposing yet complementary halves on each end. These extremes are divinely interconnected and interdependent with one another, much like a human's attraction to both sexes. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this long drawn out discussion about bisexuality. I just feel like it has a bad rep, and it doesn't have to be that way. We just need to work a little bit harder to understand each other and to understand the intricacies of, like, things such as so complex as sex and sexuality and sexual orientation. Do you understand how complex we are as human beings? Like, do you understand how complex you are as a human being? Why are you trying to put somebody in a box? Why are you trying to put yourself in a box? Don't do that. Don't do that. If you enjoyed this episode, I ask that you please rate this podcast and share it and like it and leave a comment if you so choose, if you feel moved to. And yeah, I'm about to go. I have been recording this all night. It's time to go. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, comment, subscribe, rate the podcast, do all of those things. And if you want to tap in with me on social media, you can follow me on Threads and Instagram at zajavuu. Yeah. Also, subscribe to the YouTube, because I work really hard in making sure that the lighting is perfect for you guys, as well as the angles. So yeah, get up on YouTube. Also, like, subscribe, do all the things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.